Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about how language was used and still used to divide us. In my previous video, I did speak about culture, how it was used as a glue to keep us together. I said culture originated when people realized that they've got needs and that in order for them to take care or to fulfill those needs, they need other people. If you need food or shelter or whatever, people realize that I need other people to help me out because I can't do everything. I can't know everything. So there's somebody out there who can help me. I need my brother. I need my neighbor for me to be able to live this life, to experience this life. So this is how culture was cultivated when people participated economically to get the things that they want. But you couldn't get everything that you needed by yourself. And you realize your importance in the community, in the family, in the village, that I have to also help other people. Without me, they can't do anything as much as I can't do everything by myself. Hence, in our language, we speak of Ubuntu, Butho, which means I am because you are. I exist because you exist. So for me to live, I need you as much as you need me. So people understood then their role and responsibility toward each other. So that's how culture was cultivated. So in culture, there is communication because you have to speak a certain language or you have to communicate with people in order for them to understand what your needs are and also for yourself to be able to understand when other people come to you for assistance. So we communicate in many ways. Sometimes we communicate telepathically. I can just read your mind and know what you are thinking. We communicate through words, through artwork, sounds, signs, body language, and now we communicate through emails, social media, newspapers, telephones. We also communicate the way we dress. You can tell that somebody is a nurse or a doctor, a policeman, or a prostitute by just looking at the way they dress. So communication is very, very powerful because you are relating or relaying a certain message to people out there, and people are able to get you because this is how they understand communication. So language was used by the apartheid regime to divide us as a people. They said to us, because you speak a certain language, you need to belong to a certain area. A law was passed, the Group Areas Act, which I will speak about in my next video in detail what it was about. But basically, they said that when you speak a certain language, you have to live in a certain homeland. They created homelands according to the 9 indigenous languages of South Africa. And they said to us, you don't belong to South Africa. South Africa belongs to white people. You have to go and live, or you must now belong to a Bantu stand where the Bantu people lived. They gave us passbooks and they said, for you to move from the homelands or from the villages to work in the cities because they needed our labor, you need permission to do so. So you had to carry your passbook all the time in South Africa. And then they created townships because now the people who come from the Bantu stand needed a place to stay while they're working in big cities like Johannesburg. And then these townships that were created, they put zones or sections according to the languages. Hence, people speak of the Sotho section or the Zulu section. And what they did the same thing with schools, especially in areas like here in Soweto, in areas whereby people came from different homelands and they spoke different languages. So schools were for certain people who spoke a certain language. So if you speak Sesotho, for example, you couldn't go to a Zulu school because it was only for the Zulus, and this is for the Tsongas, and this is for Basotho. We were not allowed to mix. And it was in primary school, that is from grade 1 up to grade 7. So when we get to high school, then we can all come together. But at that point already, you were conditioned, you were socialized into believing that there are certain tribes that I can't associate with. There are certain people that I cannot have a relationship with. And some people were discriminated against. There were certain tribes that we looked as the lowly tribes, and we didn't want to associate with them. We insulted them, we discriminated against them, we shamed and embarrassed them. We didn't want to speak their language. I remember there was a time when certain people didn't want to speak their own language because they were afraid that people were going to laugh at them, people were going to embarrass them, they're going to insult them. So apartheid government understood that this perfectly. So they used it on us so that we focus on ourselves instead of them, because they're the ones who took the land. They're the ones who have impoverished us, disadvantaged us in our own land. They wanted us to focus on each other so that we kill each other. And we close doors on certain people because they are not of my tribe. So if I speak a certain language, I make sure that other people from other tribes don't get access. And even in the workplace, because I mean, you are taught in primary school about language and its importance, and how certain people from certain tribes who speak a certain language were not good enough. And then we take this to the workplace, whereby you find that if maybe somebody gets a promotion, maybe you are a supervisor or something, you make sure that people of your tribe are the ones who get access, you know, to your boss. They get certain privileges because they are of your tribe. And you close the doors to other people who speak a language that is not yours. So we started to hate on each other as a people. You wouldn't associate with me because you felt that the tribe that I belong to is not good enough. And when you are better than everybody else because you belong to a certain tribe. And the unfortunate thing is that we still see this going on even today. Language is still a tool that is used to divide us. And this is done by Black people. So we're still carrying on with the legacy. We still continue seeing ourselves as the enemy and not focusing on the real enemy who is out there. In this country, we have a president who comes from a minority tribe. He speaks Venda. And we don't have issues with him because of his language. It's just because it's just a useless president. But in other countries throughout Africa, it's an issue. Which tribe do you belong to? I'm not saying tribalism does not exist. It does. But it's not as bad as other countries. For example, we all know what happened in Rwanda between the Tutsis and the Hutus. Same people, same nationality, but because of the tribe you belong to, the language that you speak, you go and you butcher and you kill because you think that when your tribe is more important, other people are subhumans. Other people have to be killed. They have to be discriminated against. In Zimbabwe, the Ndebele say that they are being discriminated against by the Shonas, who are the majority. In this country, we're still seeing tribalism, but it's at a very low level because you can live anywhere in this country and people wouldn't kill you just because you speak a different language. But it's still happening, and the government is promoting this. If you go to hospitals, police stations, at the clinic, at most government department, They employ people who belong to certain tribes, who speak a certain language. And the service that you're going to get in those institutions is all based on whether you can speak their language or not. And now we've come to an extent of believing that English is the better language. We take our children to white schools and we demand that they speak English all the time in a certain way. You can tell from my accent that I didn't go to white schools. And you can be discriminated against because you don't have the correct accent. So we think that by speaking their language, then we can be accepted as a people. It doesn't matter to them because when they look at you, they see your race. They don't see an individual. It doesn't matter how successful or how well educated or rich you are. You will always be treated according to your race. So language is a weapon or is a distraction so that we no longer focus on the real enemy out there who is taking the land, who has made us poor. Now we're focusing on each other, we're killing each other, we're hating on each other. It depends on which tribe you come from. Then if I feel that you are not important or your tribe is not important, then I'm not going to listen to you. Even when somebody comes and tries to help, you will never accept help from that person because you think that they don't speak my language. We can take the very same language in reverse and fight the enemy. We must stop being petty as Black people. Always focus on the little things that divide us. They don't like each other, but for their survival, they come together, they put away their differences and say, you know what? We have a mission to accomplish, but we can't. We're so hung up on this. I am saying, or I am telling you this so that you become conscious of yourself, that we need to stop looking at each other as the enemy. We need to understand that we are all oppressed and they don't care about which language that you speak. All they care about is that they must dominate you. You must always be the slave and they are the master. So from now on, when you look at your own people, according to the language, you must know that you are participating in your own oppression. It is time that we come together as a people and practice our culture, respect the culture, because it's in culture where we will be able to create wealth and leave a legacy for the next generation. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next video.